Hello YouTube, and welcome to another episode of yet another to-do full stack web app tutorial. Last episode we were just finishing up creating the routes, and we're able to go to different pages on our website and also authenticate the route. So if the user wasn't logged in, then they will not be able to access the home page. So now we want to get to the stage where we can let the user navigate to those pages without having to manually put them in the URL. And we will now complete the register, the login pages, and then be able to authenticate the user into the application. So by the end of this tutorial, this episode, we should then have like the full boilerplate base plate of any kind of MVP based app that you're developing. And then once you've got your users registering and logging in, you can then have them enter whatever website you wish. For us, we will continue on and add a to-do section, which will be us going back to the server, creating a to-dos collection, and pretty much then creating the API for that. So adding to-dos, removing to-dos, then adding those to the client, and then coming back to the web app to add that functionality into the app. So let's continue on then with trying to add our users some links to be able to navigate the web page. To do that, we're going to add a login and register button at the top of our nav bar. So our nav bar was created in the components, and it's at the moment just a very simple nav bar there. And we're going to be using that Bootstrap, React Bootstrap, to help us with all the styling. We can get that for free thanks to them. And what we're going to do is have a create a navbar.toggle. So the login and register buttons will appear and then toggle into a nice little button when you are on a small screen. So we just want to create that toggle function button. So just do that. Oops, so I can just collapse it there. And we'll do a navbar collapse. This is the items that are going to collapse into that button when we're on a small screen. And we will class name, we're going to justify it to the end. So and all the buttons, when they're open, they're going to go to the right side of the screen. Content empty. Content end, sorry. There we go. And we're going to, that's already closed for us. And then here we're going to add our navbar buttons. And we're going to create another component for this because I'll put some text in here just to and see what happens. So we can see it pop up there on the rice vowels. So I've already got the app running on our server, so it's already up there. We also have the server running in the background as well, so when we start doing our requests, it'll automatically access them. So here we go, that's where it's going to appear, this app navbar. But we're going to create another component, so when the user's logged in, they'll see their name, and when their user's not logged in, they'll see the login and register pages buttons. So to create that, we'll create a new component called app navbar buttons. Navbar buttons.tsx. Now we're going to export a function to create those buttons. Navbar buttons. Okay, and now we want to grab some of the user data, the context, and we'll be using that later, not just yet. We'll probably modify this in a moment, but we'll grab it nonetheless. Just see what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to do app data, set app data equals use context. This is getting our app context from last episode, which has our token if the user's logged in, and it'll also will add the user information to that. So when people log in, they'll have that information available to them. And we'll also include navigate, and this is using the React router to do some programmatic navigation for us. So when an event happens, we can navigate them a user to another page. So what we're going to do is if app data dot token, so if the user's logged in and we've got a token, we will return the nav. Okay, and we'll add a nav link. So these are going to be the buttons, the nav links here. This one is going to be disabled because this is going to just have some text for us. And we'll put here username for now, but once we add the user data to the context, we'll be able to just insert it there. We'll add another link, and this one, again, it's not going to go anywhere, but on click, we're going to say, so this is when it gets clicked by a user online, we're going to call a function called logout, and we're going to have that logout functionality in our header. So that's going to call a logout function, and up here we're going to then create that logout function, and we can print the log, so we say logging out, so we can see what things are happening, how things are interacting with our website, and that will print to a console within the web browser. We'll see that in a moment. We're going to set the app data. Oops. There we go. And we've got a token at the moment. We're going to set it null. So we're going to remove any token that was there. We are also going to, and we're going to introduce this in a moment when we register login users, a thing called local storage. So that's something that we can keep some variables in the browser window. So if someone decided to refresh the page or you know, close the browser and reopen it, we can access those local stored variables, so the token that they were using before, and reinitialize it when the app loads again. So here we're just going to clear that because the person's logging out, so we're going to completely clear the web app and any local storage, and then we're going to navigate back to the home page. So that's how our programmatic functions are working there. Oh yeah, we haven't returned all the codes. That's exactly what I was going to do next. Just check that error. So we return now. So this is, if there is no token, we'll return then a standard nav with our logging buttons. So nav.link. Href equals hashtag register. I'll do a register. And these will then take us to our other pages on our website, and then we'll have the login here. So I've just copied and pasted that across. The login. So if I control save there, that's our app nav bar button. So again, if the user's logged in, they'll get to see their username, which will print out once we've added it to the context, and a logout button to log them out of the app, and then return them to the home page. And then if not, we're going to have a register and a register login button instead up here. So to add that, we just need to go back to our app nav bar and start typing it in here. App nav bar buttons, it comes up automatically for us. Loads off that, and then if we control save, hopefully that will then reload our app. There we go. It's just rebuilt the app, and we've got our register and login. And as you can see, as I click these buttons, we're going to those pages on the app. So next bit, I guess, is to do the register page. So actually get some users logging into our application. So what we need is go to our register page. So let's open that one up. There we go. And we can then actually now start creating the form to register users. So in here, we want to just bring in the context. I don't think we need the context just yet. Actually, no, we'll just start. Let's start, rather than adding the functions, let's start drawing it out to the form so we can see what we're going to create. our functions to, or link our functions to. So we're going to return here, we're going to add a form from React Bootstrap. So it's got form. I'll just import that from the top. Form from React. Oops. React Bootstrap. And it should be open. There we go. So it's showing nothing at the moment because it's just going to house our form. We're going to have a form group, and these are going to be our different entries. So we'll do each one's going to have a label to say what it is, form.label, and it's going to then have an input form control, sorry. Okay, and that's going to be our input. So here we're going to have an email. So we're going to call it a name, call it email, and it's going to be a type email. And in our label, we're going to have email address. And if I could just say that, there we go. So we've got our first box asking for the email address. And of course, we could decorate this a lot more nicer. Have like, you know, welcome here, please register. I'll just do the functional bits of in this tutorial. So that's our, you know, our email. We will then ask them for to confirm their email. So confirm email address, and we'll call that confirm email. There we go. So it's already appeared. And then we want to do a password. Password. Just type password. There we go. So that's created that one. And of course, if I start writing in there, then we get some just random numbers and letters from my password manager. But it's all hidden for them. So of course they can't see, so it can't be seen by other people. And then we do want to repeat that with confirm password. I'll call that one password. And I'm trying to use the same here. The naming here you'll see is the same as the naming that I've used in the client, just to help again marry the two across. So those are the 4 elements we need, and then we're going to have a button. We're going to put that's a variant of type primary. It's going to be our primary button. Submit. Oops. And I'm going to type submit. There we go. And we're going to put submit in there as well. Or you could have register, whatever you may want to have there. So put register actually. There we go. And you can add additional classes to these to spread out the form and make it a little bit neater. So it's, you know, a bit more appealing to your user. Right, so we've got our form elements. Now we want to hook into a function that we're going to actually then you know, handle a user registering through our application. So we're going to create a function called handle submit. And there we go. And we're going to have it as an async function because we're going to get the client to do some events. Event which is going to have it as type any. So that's going to be the event data coming from our form. The first thing we want to do is event.prevent default. To prevent so typically if you submitted a form on it, it'll try and do a post request itself, but we want to take command how we run our submission. So we then need to hook this up, handle submit, to our form, so it knows that handle submit will get called when this button gets pressed. So just need to turn this. Just check it. Cool. Okay, yeah, that's just a bit of typing. That's fine. We'll correct that in a moment. Should, if I've got the tier, yeah, should be okay with that. It's just saying that my tsconfig. I'll double check that later. Where am I? Sorry, I'll get my tutorial back up here. Right, my reference. So yes, we're going to now get the parameters from our event data, and then actually use our client to then access our website. To do that, we need the client itself. So what I will do is create a top level here, just got client.ts, and import. No, apologies. That we will close that one. We will put it in the app. We'll put it at the top level here. So as we create our app, we shall also import client. Client. There we go. And it should say, yeah, it's not being used. So let's just export const client equals new client. There we go. So we're going to create a new client for ourselves that we can use throughout our app. Oh, and have we actually imported it into our package yet? No, we haven't. That's where, so we need to add it to our package. So let's just close that for a minute. We're going to add it as one of our dependencies. Client is workspace bar. Just as we've done before, if we go back to our client here, we've imported the server from the workspace. So if I just put that into our package.json, we should now get our client into it. So if we just do npm install, refresh those packages. There we go. And now hopefully if we go back to our app, it's, yep, now it's found our new client. We've exported, so we've now instantiated a version of that client and have exported it in our application, so we can now use it elsewhere in our application. Let's close that one. Let's clean up our rows a bit and go back to our register page. And let's start our server again, our web app. There we go. So that should rebuild. Right, so now we want to call that client and use it to access our browser. And actually in the app.tsx we want to client.endpoint equals no, actually it should be okay because we've done the proxy, so it should just accept as the default routing. So that needs to be event. Right, so if we do params here, then we're going to create our params that we're going to use then to submit to our registering user. And it's going to have email event well, actually we can do it all in one bit more one stint, and we use our typing to help us with it actually. So if we do import our client, import client in the app, there we go. Then we can do here straight away is let's get status context content equals client dot user dot register. So it's already creating our links to our functions, and here as you can see it's already hinting of what we need. So we need a name, we need an email, and event.target dot email and a name.value. That is going into our, the event is the form, and it's the target is itself, and then looking at any element called name, which is what we've defined here, and then getting the value. So it's a, oh, we need, yeah, someone's name as well then. That's it. Yep, so of course we haven't got the person's name, so we need to add that to the top. There we go. So I've just copy and pasted the form element, name, and that's for the name. That could be just a text input. And now we'll just do copy these across. So we've got email, and then do a couple of these lines. So copy and paste those. Yes, I know there's a few errors. I just need to. There you go. Call that confirm email. We'll call this one password, and we'll call this one confirm password. And then again, we just need to marry these up. So I'll copy and paste those across. So we're getting all the information from our targets. We could be doing some more analysis and evaluation of those. We need to await it because it's going to do that fetch request to then get a status, and if we do get the content. If, let's say, status equals 200, actually we don't need the content here, we're just going to say success if they have. And we can then we'll just use the inbuilt alert system to kind of do the pop-ups, but there are things called modals with Bootstrap that can give you much more attractive success and notification pop-ups in your application. But again, for this demo, just speed, we'll just use the inbuilt alert system. So if it was all good, if we're good, we can go success. Thank you for registering. Else we can actually, we can let's get that content back in. We will alert and say error login in, and we will then console log that content just so we can debug it for now. Okay, so that's us effectively creating that handle submission. Let's just fully, there we go. Oh. Got a few. It might be how I've handled that client. Let's double check here too. So it's not super useful because of all these little. If I do not import that for a moment, let's just see if it rebuilds. It may be how I'm exporting that client. Yes, okay. It's no problem. What we can do is add the client to our context, which is what I've done in the past. I just thought I'd try and sneak it a different way. No, there was a reason for it. Okay, so what we need to do is go to our context, and we're going to add our client here. Okay, so back to our interface. We're going to add client. Let's just type client. Okay, and we need to create export const client equals new client, and we are going to provide it in the context here. So client. There we go, and then I can remove this at the top here. It's probably a bit more, better way of representing it. So that's going to be then our client variable. Is going to be then available throughout our context. So now all we need to do is grab our context and then reference the client. So go to my register page here again. So once we want to grab the app data from our context, cause use context app context, move that, double check that I've got everything removed from there. Oh yeah, setting the client here as well. So, oh, written that too quickly. just add our client. There we go. So that should clean that up. And then, yeah, use our app data. So app data dot client. There we go. Now we've connected all up. And hopefully, we'll just refresh this and hopefully it's all rebuilding. Yep, that's okay. So it's all fitting nicely. We're on the register page. So let's try and add in a user. So let's do some tests. Oh, we'll just do ABC. Just in case we've got the test user from our testing from before. ABC at todo.com. And test. Don't save. There we go, success, fantastic. There you go. So that's a bit of a relief. So it's gone off and used our client to access our server and register that user. So it's come back as a 200. We can double check what's happened if we go into our server, and there we go. We've had the register call and it's gone through all our middlewares as we've gone before and come back up, all successful. So that's great. So now we've registered a user and we've also got the default admin user. If you remember back, we want to now create the login page. So again, it follows a very similar format to our register page. So I'm going to be a bit sneaky and just copy and paste a couple of these elements into our login. We'll need to then import those at the top level. Just close that form. So what we need to do is import the form from Bootstrap, and yep, we want all we want this time is our email and password. And there we go. Type password. Okay. Similar as before, we need to let's copy and paste over that button. So we're going to do this. I'll call it login, and I need to import that at the top. Import button, and we also need to do that. Why not? Let's change it to login. There we go. So we can then create this function called login, and it's going to be async again, and it's going to be have an event any at the moment, and just as before in the register, we are going to event.prevent default. So I'll copy and paste that across, and we're going to need our context. So let's grab that bit of code from the register. So this is the const app.data, use context. You could paste that across. Just need to import use context. Context. Okay. And I need to import app data, app context. There we go. So similar as before, we just need to now create the make the request. So we're going to do constant status status, and we're going to get the content as well if you might want to print it out, because also it will give us a token. We're going to do an await app data.client .user .login. There we go, it's that. And it wants our email and password. Event.target .email .value. And I just noticed that we need to change the name on this one to email, and this one needs to be corrected to password, and then password. Oops. Event.target .password .value. Okay, so now we're going to check or wait for that user to log in, and then we go if the status that we get back is 200, then that's fantastic. We've got the user logged in, and now we're going to receive a token in the content. So we want to decode that token. So we're going to call it, let's create a variable called decoded token, and we're going to decode. But we might need to install a package before I finish that, so I'll just comment it out for 2 seconds and double check my package.json. Yep, so we need now another package called let's just double check it here. JSON Web Token Decode, so it can decode that token on the browser side. It doesn't check whether it's authenticated because it can't do the key value check. Check for the validity of that token. We'll have to trust it. We do all those checks on the server side. So we just need to pause our building of the app. We're going to do pm add -f equals web app. So we're going to install this package to the web app, and it's jwt.decode. Yep, that's it. So that should just add it to our to-do app. Fantastic. And yep, we see it appear in our list of dependencies. So we should be able to start that web app back up again. And that's great. So we're back in action on the port. Now our decoded token from logging in is equal to decode. That's it, JWT decode, and we're going to give it the r.content. Okay. Oh, not r.content, just the content. Okay. Just double check that the content's there by doing this, and it should clear that little error up. There we go. Oh, of course it is. It's content.data. Going to be under because we don't need the error. Okay, so then that's created our decode token, and that's going to have our user details in. And here to actually describe that, we can say it's of decoded user token, if you remember back to our server, but we need to get that from our client. So what we can do in our client, if we go back to the index.ts vector, we export the decoded user token type from our server. We could put the server as a dependency, but it's a bit too much, to go all that, to go that far back and forth. So I thought I'd just import it through our client, and then here we can then put as decoded user token. It's already found it. So we know what type that decoded token is. We can now set our app data, app data.client.token. We can specify as the token for the content.data, and we can also set the app. Now we need to update our application with our new data. So I'm going to do set app data. And we're going to do token. Sorry, it's constantly building in the background. There we go. Just checking it's building okay. So the token's going to be the content.data. And we're going to have the client. We're going to update the client now because we've just given it a new token within itself. So we're just going to add that into here. And then we're going to do our user is going to be the unpacked version of the decoded user decoded token. Now we haven't got user set on our app data yet, so we need to add that, and that's so we can get the name, the email address of the user. So just close a few of those up, and we go back to context. We can create our user here, type decoded user token, or null. There we go. And we want to set it here as null. And in our app, we need to also set it at the top level here. So user null. If we go to the login page, we can now unpack that token in there. So that has now updated all our user data. And what we'd like to also do is to go to our local storage and set item. So we're going to keep this token in our browser. We're going to come back to this app later, give it the data. We're going to do our navigate again. We're going to import create our navigate variable, which is using the React DOM navigate function to then push us to another part of the app. So we'll do navigate, and we will navigate to our home page, and then we'll return. So that's right. So what we've done is got our login function. It's going to try and get the send that to the server. If we're successful, then we'll get 200. We'll get the content. We will unpack that content, apply it to our token, set the app data up, and then navigate to the home page of the user. So that's all good. And then what we also might want to do is, if we go back to our components and our app navbar buttons, we can we need to clean these up. So client, client. So now we're logging out. We just want to clear the client, and we need to clear the user. There we go, that's all cleared up. And what I wanted to do here as well is add data dot user dot email. Let's use that email, and that's, we can check if that user is logged in at the top there. So that's all good. So once the login, it should log us in, go to our home page. The buttons at the top will then update to include the user's email. So let's test this out. So abc.do.com. Save a little. It may have run. So I'd like to see. Oh, yep. So we've got a login here, but it hasn't taken us to our login page. So let's see what happened. Need a bit more debugging going on here. Log status, and then log to content. See what's going on. So if we try and log in again. Okay, so we've got our response there, but it hasn't come up here. Maybe if I completely refresh this page for us. Oh, that's probably... Aha, so this is a challenge. So this is actually because I've exported that decoded user token, it's tried to import all our server related code, and it's it doesn't run on the browser, obviously. So let's decouple those, and then hope we can clean that off a bit. So we need to go to our server. Oh, not our server. We need to go to the client, and we need to not export. So index.ts. Let's not export the decoded token. From server, we shall just rewrite it for now. So if I borrow the type from server, so it's not temp directories, routers, we need types. Here we are, sorry, find it. So we want to, let's borrow that, and then I'll rework in the web app. So I will put this type in here in the app context. Let's see how it works. So we will have scopes, and we need to import the scopes. So let's bring that in from the server. And yeah, so we've got these codes, but we can simplify this and just have this as the decoded user token with the exported number. So this is a challenge of having sometimes like running things in a node as well as in the browser, and you get sometimes across compiling issues. Actually, more recent stuff I've got, you could create a separate package just for your types and put all your types in that package and then reference them out, so then they don't have to try and import code that's only meant for the not for the browser or for your server. So if I've got the decoded user token there, I just need to now, hopefully it's all just propagated through. I need to go back to the login page. Pages, login. Just need to remove this now. And we call this one decoded user token from app context. There we go. So hopefully that's cleaned up that a bit. And let's try and log in once again. abc@todo.com. Okay, yeah, fantastic. There we go. So we've got our 200. We've got a bearer token. There it is. We've then given it to the data, but we have not navigated. Oh yes, we have navigated to the home, but I've got an issue with our endpoint there. So let's, but I've got my log out, which is fantastic. So I could log back out. There we go. Let's clean that up. I just need to then update this one to /home. Okay, let's save that. And I also want to double check on this decoded token just to see if it's unpacked as we expected it to. Oops, it's not console log. We may need to split it from the bearer token. So let's just double check here. abc@todo.com and there we go. So we've logged in, we've got the user, and we've just printed out. And yes, we do have the object, which is, so it's decoded the token correctly there. So we've got the user, it's got an ID, name, got their scopes, but it hasn't got their email address. So I may have not passed that back through the server, so we can double check that a bit later. So I guess just to wrap this bit of the tutorial up, because I think that's just a case of where has that got lost in transmission. We want to put then the username up here. So if we go to the index, no, yeah, let's just close all those again, clean up. Go to our buttons. Let's go to user.name here. There we go. Close that. There we go. So we've got our username up there at the moment. But there we go. So in essence, we have now created our app. We've got a login page, we've got a register page, and then when you log in, do it again. At todo.com test. We save that. We then enter our home page. Okay, so got that. Oh, I need a bit of cleaning up on the hash router. I think it's just we can, yep, just need to clean that up and then we'll get that sorted. But in essence, we've got that, and then we've got to sort out the email. But you've got all the routing there to create your your login and to do, and then now we go and start creating our little like app, whatever app that you want to create. So thank you very much for listening. Hope that was useful, and see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.